everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paisley. For those of you who do not know me, I'm so excited that you are here. As you saw, I started the morning off with some yoga. Yeah, that's kind of been the routine during this lockdown. We're kind of entering like 4 weeks of the strictest lockdown here in New Zealand. As you may have known if you've been following me this entire journey, it's just been quite a bit. It's been quite a bit, but the one thing that has definitely been keeping me sane and has saved my, you know, sense of joy and hope has been my yoga and spiritual practice. And I know that this is going to be kind of a vlog, but kind of not, and we are going to be tackling Aldo's here with me, by the way, and I know that we are going to be tackling organization within my closet and clothing. I wanted to just acknowledge the fact that I don't even know how to say this, kind of trying to have a heart-to-heart at this moment, but I think that this lockdown has been a blessing in disguise because I had been so far removed from my spiritual practice since I moved out here, really. Like, and I remember, I mean, okay, my thoughts are all jumbled up, but looking back at the beginning of my channel, like when I first started posting, my sense of spirituality was woven so deeply throughout the videos that I was making and throughout the way that I would speak and the activities that I would do. Like literally one of the last videos before I moved out here was me going to a freaking Halloween witch circle with a bunch of women and just honoring ourselves in a realm that is beyond the physical plane. And that shit just excites the shiz out of me. And ever since I moved out here, which I'm so grateful I moved out here because I don't think that I would be, you know, discovering this about myself if I didn't. But ever since I moved out here, my spiritual practice or my spiritual game has been really weak. That isn't necessarily wrong, but through my core values and the way that I want to live my life and integrate spirituality in my life was doing more harm than good for me. And I think that this lockdown has really forced me essentially to step back into that spirituality because I know that that is what makes me feel whole and what connects me to the divine that is essentially rooted in all of us, right? That's what connects us to each other. Long story short, I've been really honing into my spiritual practice through yoga, meditation, connecting with people in the spiritual community, oracle card readings, tarot card readings, and really diving into my own inner narrative. With all of the crazy shit that's happening in the world right now, it's so easy to be so far removed from your own sense of self and doom scrolling on Instagram and just being taken away from your own true reality. And also noticing how your body is reacting to maybe posts or opinions that are not in alignment with your opinions, and then questioning yourself. This is what I've been going through recently. Questioning, why are you feeling so angry or resentful for someone who is just expressing their lens of the world in a way that you don't necessarily agree with? Wondering why is that the case? And I talked about this on my Instagram, where I asked some really controversial questions. And again, I even relate it that, you know, these questions go beyond just a yes or a no. They are all multifaceted and they are all circumstantial. I think that right now our world is extremely polarized to the point that if someone doesn't agree with your ideologies and your thinking, they are automatically wrong, a bad person, evil, whatever. I've just been coming to the realization, and I know that a lot of us may already realize this or subconsciously realize this, that social media really capitalizes on your own internal biases and your own internal narrative. So social media's algorithm is going to pump out the things that you connect with the most and that you agree with the most, or your ideology, because you're more likely to stay on your phone and look at that. But what that is doing is taking away diverse thinking. And diverse thinking is one of the most incredible things that is going to bring us back to a middle ground. There are extreme sides to any situation. And when you believe in the extreme side of this and you're constantly getting pumped information on this side or this side, whatever side that you feel like your brain is leaning more towards, as long as you keep placing your time and energy on that area, that's gonna, your point of view is just gonna be skewed more and more and more to believe that the other side is evil or wrong. When the other side, they are humans as well. They are living on this earth, sharing this rock floating in space just as much as you are, you know? Like, okay, this is editing Paisley now coming at you. Another point that I wanted to make or just touch on was that everything is so polarized because one side believes the other is wrong in such a deep way, where they think, this is just a generalization, this isn't for everyone or whatever, but most of the time it's like, how one side says, how can they even think anything different? How can they believe anything different than what I believe in? And then the other side's like, how do they believe anything different than like what we think? And so it's like people are so polarized essentially, but it's like, well, why don't you ask that person why they don't believe in what you believe in? And that's where, again, common ground could be formed. All right, I'll step up my soapbox. I think that social media has done a really incredible job of taking the humanity away from people who don't believe in what you believe in. We have to ask ourselves, why are we so quick to judge? And it's because of the information that we're looking at, and our critical thinking, or just our a general compassion is taken away. And this is because extremism has no grounds in compassion. I don't know if this is resonating with anyone, but we've come to a time where if you speak against the narrative of someone else, you're automatically deemed as horrible, horrible things, just a bad person in general. That goes with either side. The videos that are getting the most traction and the most attention are the videos that are spitting hate towards another side, because I don't know, our brains are wired more to resonate with fear rather than love. It is a psychological thing. My mom's a therapist. She told me about this. We hold on to devastating news better than we hold on to really beautiful news. And of course, social media accounts that, you know, pride themselves off of sending out information and building a following and everything are going to capitalize on that. and not saying that either point is right or wrong on their side, or that they're not speaking any truth, but they're speaking in a way that is not out of love, which is not rooted out of love, it's rooted out of fear. And I think that then forces us to be afraid of speaking against the narrative that is so toxic. And this is, again, either side of any situation, where it's like, if you're in a community that has just one point of view and you're like, hey, that doesn't necessarily seem right, have you ever thought of it in this way? And then you're automatically ostracized, told you're a bad person, when in reality you're just questioning the validity of the one side. It's not like you're necessarily disagreeing with them, but you're just asking for another perspective. And we're so scared to speak up on another perspective because we are scared of the judgment of others. And this is, I'm trying to full circle this. This is what I've been dealing with recently as well, is just like, I've been so scared to speak my truth, even though I know that it is rooted in love, because I was afraid of what other people may think of me. And at the end of the day, not everyone is gonna agree with you. No matter what point of view you have, not every single person on this earth is gonna agree with you. And that's beautiful. Not everyone should agree with you. We shouldn't all think the same. We shouldn't all have the same ideologies, because what if at one point the ideology becomes really not great, in a sense that it's harming others, but as soon as you're like, whoa, that doesn't seem right, you're bashed and you're told that you're a bad person for questioning. It's like, we have these diverse thinkings and we have these differences of opinions for a reason, so we can find a middle ground, and so that we're not so extreme or just so the same. Questioning isn't a bad thing, because one, it can either shift your mindset towards theirs, maybe you level with them, or if anything, it can re-solidify your own beliefs, right? It could reaffirm everything that you believe because you've heard their truth and their side, and you're like, that still doesn't sit well with me. I feel, this is my truth. And that just reaffirmed it for me. But we're so scared of what other people think. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to upset people. And I think that, social media has capitalized on this like immensely, because we're so scared to get hate through a screen. And we are so, and I'm not saying everyone is like this, because I know a lot of people aren't heavily indoctrinated into social media or anything, or, it's just interesting to see this happening, and we're so far removed from it because we are so in our own algorithm. Oh my god, the world is so crazy! And I think that it's hard to listen to people who don't necessarily agree with your point of view or your values. Debates and diverse thinking, open conversations that are rooted in love rather than reaction. Listening for the intent of listening rather than the intent of responding. I feel like that's definitely a thing right now. Either side of any situation is just reaction. No one is listening to each other. Or no one is listening to their opposing side, or the side that they're not aligning with directly. And it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary how we are less likely to find common ground this day and age than anything, because we're so polarized. Is that intentional? I don't know. Maybe. But if anything, I think that it's our duty as humans to be able to see all perspectives and respect the perspectives if they're rooted out of love. Of course. I mean, like, I'm not going to agree with the perspective of saying that child trafficking is okay. Like, no, absolutely not. because that's not rooted out of love, that's rooted out of harming someone else, exploiting someone else. I don't know where this is going, but that's just been heavy on my heart because I've been, you know, doom scrolling, and I got to a point yesterday. It's interesting that we're, you know, experiencing a full moon when I experienced this as well, where yesterday I was so overwhelmed with just everything, especially when I posted the controversial questions and I had so many people diving into my DMs, disagreeing with me, agreeing with me, saying their 2 cents, all that stuff, and just realizing, whoa, fuck. Just because I said this one thing, not everyone is going to agree with me, and that is beautiful. And I was able to open up to some really incredible open conversations, which I, you know, have been wanting. I've been wanting so badly because I know that my algorithm is shifted into a way that feeds my own, you know, ego or internal narrative. And so to be able to have my mind expanded to the other side, or maybe just a side that was differing from me, allowed me to shift my mindset and step into that middle ground and be able to intentionally listen and see a different perspective. And so when I was just so overwhelmed with this, where there's so many different responses out of fear, there's so many different responses out of love, and just so many different reactions, responses, whatever, in my DMs, that I was like kind of overloaded with information, fear, anger, love, all this stuff. Everything was happening that I'm just like, my post was out of love. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it doesn't really matter. But the way that I had spoke my truth was out of love. 100%. It wasn't bashing one side or the other. It was just being, you know? And to notice the reaction and the rise and triggers of other people coming forward, it made me realize again that I'm not here to please everyone. I'm here to stand in my truth. And I think that that's the lesson for everyone on this earth. Maybe not right now or whatever, but as soon as we give the power of our own voice up, we have given away our choice, right? If we're afraid to speak up, we've already given that choice away. And I think that now more than ever, we need these diverse thinkings, these diverse conversations, because then it's going to pull us to a middle ground and not dehumanize each other. Because we're all human. We all have thoughts, emotions, histories. There's over 8 billion people on this planet. There's going to be over 8 billion different realities, past histories, life experiences, lenses of the world. And it's our duty to be able to listen to all of that. And then find your truth when you've seen all of the different options, you know, the different ideologies. And I know that that's kind of impossible, but being able to make that decision for yourself, not what you think that other people want you to do. That's like with any life situation. And I know that as humans, we want that connection and we want that compassion. And I don't know, we just want to be accepted, right? That's like, that's everything. We want to be accepted, especially now more than ever in a pandemic where we're so isolated. We crave that connection and that acceptance. So we are more willing to give up our own ideologies, our own inner narrative or inner, you know, truth. We're willing to give that up in order to fit in or in order to belong to something. Which I'm not here to tell you who you belong to or not, but you belong to your own inner God, your own inner spirituality, your own inner self. And that is the most liberating thing that you can do, is to accept yourself for who you are and step into your power and speak your truth in a way that is loving. Anyway, stepping off my soapbox, I felt the need after all these overwhelming, you know, messages, which I'm so grateful for, because this is what brought me to this realization. I was literally kneeling on my mat with my palms up after I, you know, connected to the earth and to my, you know, higher power, that I was like, please just give me hope. Please just give me hope. Like, God, please give me hope. And when I say God, I know that that could be a trigger word for some people who are stepping out of religion or anything, or are religious. Like, when I say God, I'm just speaking to my own higher power and my own spiritual divinity. If you believe in the universe, God, aliens, whatever, God for me is just that all-encompassing energy. So I was like, God, please just let me feel hope. Let me feel that joy, because it's been slipping through my fingers. And at that moment, God, whatever, basically told me that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You are now ready to let go of the burden of other people's thoughts about you. You're not gonna please everyone, and that's so true. So anyways, I just feel like I have needed to oh my god, I don't even know what that was. That just was like spitting out of me, and I'm already at like, what, 18 minutes through this, so maybe I'll just post this and like post the next video as a, you know, closet clean out, because this is getting too much. I don't know, I hope that resonated with someone. Just know that whatever you are thinking or feeling right now is completely valid, and just step into that and like sink into it, surrender to it, and ask yourself, why do you feel afraid or nervous to speak out on how you are feeling? People who truly love you are gonna accept you for whoever you are. And the people that don't are either questioning their own integrity and intelligence, or just their own reality, or they're just so deeply rooted in fear that they can't see. Anyways, I hope this resonated with you. Maybe I should start my own podcast rather than just spitting all this stuff out, but I really want to step back into this sense of spirituality and the sense of just love, because it has been so integrative in my own practice and life, and it has given me so much liberation within myself. And I feel like it is a duty for, you know, anyone who has these revelations or anything to share and to expand and encourage these open conversations. And you're a good person. Just examine where you're operating out of. Is it fear mentality, or is it out of love? I hope this resonated again. I hope you enjoyed this video and this talk, and I hope that you're still here after this long chat. But I love you so much wherever you are in this world. I wish you so much peace. I wish you so much love. And we're all in this together. You're incredible. You're meant to be here. And please do not be shy to share your voice. I know it's easier said than done, but we need you. I love you. Namaste.